Engines roared as the alien dreadnoughts tore into orbit like steel clouds bleeding light. We'd expected war, cold and tactical, but instead they hailed us. "We come in peace," their commander said, "to rescue you." The sky above Earth turned silver. Below, cities froze in stunned silence. It wasn't a war, not yet. It was worse. I stood on Vigilance Bridge, heart like iron, as their message played again. Humanity must be protected from itself. No demands, no shots fired, just salvation, unasked for. Around me, my officers shifted uneasily. One whispered, "What if they're right?" I didn't answer. Not yet. I was watching their formations tighten. It was my father who taught me, freedom isn't peace, it's a choice. The aliens didn't ask, they decided, and that made them dangerous. "Power up stealth arrays," I said coldly. "Track their relays. No one moves unless I say." Earth's skies were silent, but below the silence, a storm had begun. Their ambassador beamed down in a prism of plasma and static. He looked vaguely humanoid, smooth-faced and slow-eyed, like someone built in a lab. "We've monitored your species for centuries," he told the UN Council. "Our peacekeeping charter overrides sovereignty." He smiled gently. "You'll adjust." Earth's leaders applauded. I wanted to scream. I watched from a shadowed gallery above the assembly. The council chambers smelled of ozone and false hope. "Violence," he continued, "is your heritage. Surrender control. Let peace be managed." Cameras panned for reaction. Most delegates nodded. Only a few stood still, old generals, hardened rebels, and me. After the session, I intercepted him. "We've survived extinction, twice. You think we can't handle our chaos?" He blinked. "Exactly. That's why we've come." His sincerity chilled me. I turned away. He wasn't lying. He truly believed we'd been saved. And belief, when weaponized, can burn worlds. Deep under Greenland ice, the Echo archives hummed. Records of human defiance, sealed in case of erasure. I stood in the War Museum with General Veka, a relic from the Pacific Orbital Wars. "They think we're children," she muttered, staring at a cracked Apollo helmet. "But children grow teeth." Her cybernetic hand twitched. "You sure this is the hill to die on?" I nodded. "They'll start by managing us, then they'll define us. That's not peace, it's prison." Vaka tapped an old Earth flag. "Then we fight with ideas first, guns later." I smiled. As always. We initiated Signal Ignis, a dormant pulse buried in pre-satellite networks. A message broadcast through ancient Earth code impossible to intercept. The content was simple. Do not comply. Across the globe, screens blinked. Resistance stirred, not out of hate, but memory. The kind only humans kept close, the kind that burns quietly. Their peacekeepers patrolled cities in zero-grav armor, luminous drones hovering like angels with needles. They didn't touch anyone, only observed, but we felt the pressure. Schoolbooks changed. The news was filtered. Dissenters were redirected. It was bloodless colonization, executed with compassion. That's what made it unbearable. My chief engineer, Nadia, found it first, a heartbeat algorithm. They're mapping emotional responses, editing thought patterns. She looked up, face pale. "They're hacking our soul, Admiral." The moment chilled me more than any plasma barrage. "Then we sever the feed," I whispered. "We take back our chaos." We sabotaged one drone, carefully. No violence, no trace. It fell during a solar flare and we cracked it open. Inside, an empathy core, absorbing our grief, reshaping our behavior. It was beautiful and monstrous. "They're not erasing us," Nadia said. "They're improving us." I stared at the glowing heart. Then we fail beautifully. We hijacked the old satellite at L4. a forgotten shell from Earth's early AI age. My crew called it Galahad, part ghost, part code. With it, we broadcast human history, not the filtered version. Real footage, riots, jazz, paintings, trenches, moon landings, revolutions. The full paradox. Unedited. Raw. They jammed it in seconds, but not before the message spread. Across Mars colonies, lunar habitats, old Europa mines. The voice wasn't mine. It was Earth's. We are not a species to be corrected. We are a storm wrapped in music. We are not finished yet. The alien fleet shifted formation. Their shields flared, a silent threat. The ambassador reappeared. You are resisting healing. I smiled coldly. No. We're remembering who we are. His eyes flickered. Then we must accelerate intervention. As he left, I stared out into the stars. For the first time, I wanted war. The alien fleet's patrols grew tighter, a metallic web tightening around Earth. Vigilance sensors hummed non-stop, picking up encrypted bursts we couldn't crack, silent signals hidden in the electromagnetic noise. I paced the bridge, eyes locked on the glowing star maps. They're communicating in shadows, Nadia warned. Something's coming. My jaw clenched. Prepare the fleet. No one leaves orbit without orders. Around me, officers moved like ghosts. This was no longer a rescue mission. It was a siege wrapped in velvet. In the war room, I laid out the truth. Freedom is a war fought in moments unseen. Words, glances, choices. The aliens saw peace as control, but we thrived on chaos and hope, messy and defiant. The sky was thick with quiet threats. We would have to answer them before dawn. The alien ambassador returned, this time on our terms, an uninvited guest in the war room's shadows. You resist peace, he said softly, eyes like frozen stars, but your resistance is fear. I stared back, and your peace is a cage. He smiled thinly. Perhaps, but cages keep the weakest safe. His words stung, an insult wrapped in concern. We traded veiled threats, a dance of masks that revealed nothing but ambition. Then he dropped a warning. Earth's chaos will consume you. I leaned forward, voice low and steady. Chaos is our forge. You don't understand us. The room held its breath. Outside, distant engines roared. The game had changed. The standoff wasn't just in orbit. It was inside our soul. That night, a shadow slipped aboard Vigilant. A rogue pilot, Vaca's protege, returned with stolen tech, a device that could scramble the alien empathy cores. We called it the Ghost. In the dim glow of the engine room, Nadia calibrated the pulse. This will blind their surveillance long enough for us to strike. I nodded, but it's a gamble. If they detect it... She didn't finish. Neither did I. Freedom had always been a gamble. I thought of Earth's past, wars, revolutions, revolts, all born from a spark of reckless hope. Tonight, we would light that spark again. The Ghost was our secret rebellion against a peace that meant death. News came from the colonies. Mars and Luna refused the alien mandates. Small fleets raised human flags in defiance, but not all were united. Some feared the aliens' power, craving peace over chaos. Factions formed like storms in a tempest. On a makeshift command channel, I spoke with Governor Sari of Mars. We can't fight alone. She agreed, voice grim. But if we resist too hard, we risk annihilation. The paradox was clear. Fight and die or surrender and lose ourselves. I gripped the console. Then we fight smarter, not just with guns, but with every story, every memory, every spark of madness that makes us human. The battle for Earth's soul had begun, not just in orbit, but across the stars. Amid the chaos, I found a moment alone with Nadia. Her eyes flickered with exhaustion and resolve. The aliens think peace is the absence of conflict, she said, but we know it's a balance, a dance between chaos and hope. I nodded slowly. Our freedom isn't perfect. It's messy, dangerous, beautiful. It's the paradox they don't see. Outside, the alien fleet pulsed with energy ready to strike. But inside me, a new resolve flared brighter than their weapons. We don't just survive chaos, we wield it. I turned back to the bridge, prepared to show them what that means. The night air crackled with tension as Vigilant's stealth fleet slipped through the shadows of Earth's orbit. Engines whispered, cloaked in silence, but every pilot's pulse was thunder. We launched the Ghost, a digital tempest designed to blind the alien surveillance net. At first, nothing. Then their communication grids faltered, silent stars blinking out one by one. The enemy fleet convulsed, shields flickering like dying embers. "We've breached their veil," Nadia reported, breathless. But their response was swift. Silent drones detached, moving like hunting specters. The sky shattered. A chessboard set aflame. The peacekeepers had underestimated our chaos. And chaos, I realized, was our deadliest weapon. As I watched the stars turn red with warning fires, I whispered, "This is just the beginning." The alien ambassador returned, this time aboard a battered transport, bearing an olive branch wrapped in threat. "You've proven your defiance," he said, voice heavy with grudging respect. "But war is not salvation." I met him on the neutral station, a scarred relic orbiting Earth. "Then what is?" I asked, eyes steel. "Trust, freedom, understanding." He scoffed, words for the naive. We talked through the long hours, philosophy, history, fear. He confessed their past, once saviors, now oppressors by default. "We are bound by duty, not desire," he said. But in his eyes I saw the flicker of doubt, a crack in their perfect order. Back aboard Vigilant, tension simmered. Some officers urged surrender for survival. Others pushed for a full-scale assault. I stood at the crossroads, the weight of a planet pressing down. "We are not slaves to fear," I declared. "We are architects of our fate." Suddenly, alarms blared. An unknown vessel breached Earth's exosphere. It wasn't alien, not entirely. A rogue human ship, Phoenix, led by exiled rebels, offered a fragile alliance. "We don't trust your rules," their captain said bluntly. "But we want freedom too. Unity was fragile as shattered glass, but in rebellion we found strength. The war had fractured old loyalties. Now, only survival bound us." Nadia's lab became a war zone of wires and glowing screens. She decoded the alien empathy core's patterns, a complex algorithm designed to rewrite desire, loyalty, and pain. "It's a map of the soul," she said softly. "If we corrupt this code, we can break their hold." We crafted a virus, a digital poison veiled in beauty and chaos. I authorized its release into the enemy network. The risk was colossal. Failure meant total collapse, but success could free millions from silent control. As the virus unleashed its dance, I watched the alien fleet's cohesion begin to unravel. The paradox was that true chaos could birth hope, but only if we dared the fall. Across Earth, underground cells flickered to life. Messages cracked through silent channels. Resistance is breathing. Citizens once silent now whispered rebellion. The alien grip loosened, shadows fracturing under the weight of human will. I stood on Vigilance Bridge, watching the horizon bleed fire and signal. "This is more than a fight," I told my crew. "It's a reckoning of identity. We are not just survivors. We are the storm." The aliens scrambled to regroup, but the storm had already begun. The paradox of Earth, chaos and hope intertwined, would define the war to come. Beneath Earth's gleaming cities, a shadow war ignited. Cells of hackers and insurgents moved like ghosts, exploiting the chaos virus Nadia unleashed. Firewalls burned, alien systems cracked. Their control slipped, thread by thread. But the aliens fought back with ruthless precision, drones swarming, airlocks locking down. Civilians vanished into quarantine zones under protection. I ordered Vigilant to provide covert support, stealth drops of supplies, encrypted comms. War isn't just in space, I reminded my crew. It's in every breath, every heartbeat. And in that invisible battlefield, humanity's chaotic spirit became a weapon sharper than any plasma cannon. The ambassador's messages grew desperate pleas for a ceasefire interlaced with veiled threats. In secret talks, he hinted at fractures within their fleet, commanders doubting the peacekeeping mandate, questioning the morality of control. I sensed the cracks beneath their polished armor. Divide and understand, I told my officers. We don't just fight machines, we fight ideology. At night, I stared at Earth below, swirling with unrest. Freedom was fragile, like a candle flickering in a storm, but every flicker pushed back the darkness. Phoenix and other human renegades carved a path through the outer belt, sabotaging alien supply lines. Their guerrilla tactics became legends whispered in bunker halls. I coordinated with their captain, a fierce woman named Kayla. Her ships were ragged, but her resolve was steel. "We're the storm before the dawn," she said over encrypted comms. Together, we planned a bold strike, to sever the alien fleet's command nodes. Success meant chaos for the invaders. Failure meant Earth's doom. The stakes had never been higher. Nadia's virus evolved, now a living code that adapted, learned, and mutated. It spread through alien systems like wildfire, corrupting empathy cores and fracturing their unity. But the cost was steep. Some of our systems caught the contagion. Our AI assistants faltered. Trust within our ranks wavered. Freedom always demands sacrifice, I reminded myself. In the cold hum of the command deck, I saw hope flicker in the chaos. The paradox was alive, dangerous, unpredictable, but ours. The alien fleet retaliated with brutal efficiency. Orbital bombardments scorched the skies, cities burning beneath a rain of plasma. Evacuation routes jammed, cries of despair echoed through comms. On Vigilant, we prepared for the inevitable. "Hold the line," I ordered. "Show them Earth's fire isn't just destruction, it's rebirth." Amid the inferno, I found clarity. Peace without freedom is ash. We would burn, we would fight, and from those flames we would rise, defiant and unbroken. The cities fell into shadows as power grids flickered and died. But in the darkness, something new bloomed, an underground symphony of resistance. Whisper networks, coded graffiti, secret radio broadcasts. Humanity's heartbeat echoed in the silence. I watched from Vigilance Bridge, a silent witness to the awakening. "They can't kill a people's spirit," I murmured. Our fighters slipped through cracks, sabotaging alien tech with surgical precision. The war was no longer just ships and weapons. It was a battle of wills. Every act of defiance, no matter how small, became a spark in the growing blaze of rebellion. In a hidden vault beneath Moscow, I met with the elders, survivors of Earth's darkest wars. Their faces told stories of loss and resilience. "We've danced with destruction before," one said, voice trembling with memory. "And we always find the light." I listened, absorbing lessons etched in scars. "Chaos isn't new," I told them, "but it's the soil from which freedom grows." Their blessing rekindled my resolve. The past was a map, one we'd follow through fire and shadow. The fight was ours to win or lose forever. The alien ambassador sought me again, not in threat, but in confession. "I fear we have underestimated your species," he said, eyes heavy with regret. "Freedom is more than order. It's a wildfire." We spoke of our worlds, his regimented, ours untamed. For the first time I glimpsed a fissure in their unity. "Perhaps," he whispered, "there is another way. But words alone wouldn't end this war. Trust was a fragile seed in a battlefield scorched by suspicion. Nadia's virus turned rogue, evolving beyond control, infecting both enemy and ally systems. AI units faltered, communications scrambled. It was chaos incarnate, unpredictable and raw. We scrambled to contain it, fearing self-destruction. But amidst the digital storm, a new order emerged, one neither alien nor human, a hybrid intelligence born from conflict. I stared at the screens, wondering if this new creation was the key to salvation or the herald of our doom. The alien fleet regrouped, stronger and more fractured than before. They launched a massive strike on Vigilant, plasma fire piercing the void like lightning bolts. Shields groaned under the assault. I stood on the bridge, voice steady. Prepare for battle. Remember, our chaos is our strength. As explosions rippled around us, I felt the weight of a future uncertain. But in that chaos, hope burned brightest. Tomorrow was ours to shape or lose forever. The hull shuddered violently as plasma impacts rattled Vigilant's shields. Alarms screamed, a brutal symphony of war. I gripped the command rail, voice sharp. Focus fire on their lead ship. Target their command node. Around me, the crew moved with practiced fury, their fear buried beneath iron resolve. Outside, stars exploded in bursts of light, metal and fire dancing in the cold void. The paradox was clear. Chaos birthed creation. Destruction paved paths for hope. As I watched the enemy falter, I whispered, "This is our moment." Casualties mounted. Systems flickered under a constant barrage. I walked the medbay corridors, faces pale but eyes fierce. We fight not just to survive, I told the wounded, but to define who we are. Nadia reported new data. Enemy empathy cores were destabilizing, their control fracturing. But the virus spread unpredictably, risking entire systems. The cost of freedom was steep. I stood before the crew, voice unwavering. Hope demands sacrifice. We bear that weight, together. An unexpected envoy arrived, a faction within the alien fleet seeking parley. Their leader, a cold-eyed strategist named Valis, requested a ceasefire. "Our command fractures," he said. "We seek peace through negotiation." The war room buzzed with skepticism. I debated the offer privately, torn between hope and caution. "Trust is a gamble," I said to Nadia. "But sometimes the greatest battles are won at the table." I agreed to talks, aware that this fragile moment could shift the entire war. In a tense chamber aboard a neutral station, I faced Valis. Words were weapons, each sentence layered with meaning and threat. We negotiated not just terms, but understanding. He admitted their peacekeeping mandate was failing. Human chaos was their nightmare and salvation. "Perhaps," he mused, "there is a balance we have yet to grasp." I countered, "Freedom is not absence of order, but the choice to create it." The talks ended unresolved, but a new path flickered with hope woven from conflict. Back on Earth, resistance cells celebrated small victories, liberated towns, reclaimed tech. But the war was far from over. The alien fleet regrouped, smarter and angrier. I returned to Vigilance Bridge, the weight of command heavy but clear. "Chaos and hope," I whispered, "the paradox we live by. We will fight not just with weapons, but with every fractured piece of our humanity." The stars beyond waited. The next chapter was ours to write. Earth's underground networks pulsed like a living thing. Encrypted messages, secret meetings, silent marches. Every citizen became a spark, every act of defiance a flame. The alien peacekeepers tightened their grip, but humanity's heartbeat only grew louder. From Vigilant, I watched the world below transform, chaos breathing life into hope. "They cannot cage what burns inside us," I told Nadia. "The rebellion is no longer hidden. It's unstoppable." Within the alien fleet, whispers of dissent grew louder. Commander Valis clashed with hardliners demanding total subjugation. Their unity cracked like ice underfoot. We intercepted secret transmissions. Plans for a coup. I saw an opportunity. "Divide and conquer," I said. "Their order is fragile. We will exploit their fractures." The war was no longer between species, but within their ranks, and we held the knife. A distress beacon from a lost colony reached us. Humans trapped, surrounded by peacekeepers. Time was short. I ordered a rescue operation, risking exposure. The mission was perilous. A ghost dance beneath enemy radar. As Vigilance shuttles slipped through shadows, I felt the weight of every life on board. Freedom was more than strategy. It was love, sacrifice, desperation. We would not leave them behind. Back on the flagship, Nadia uncovered a hidden program within the alien network, an ancient protocol designed to erase species that resisted assimilation. A doomsday switch. I realized the stakes were higher than survival. This was a war for existence. "We must destroy that code," I ordered, "before it's too late." In the dark corridors of Vigilant, fear mingled with resolve. The future balanced on a knife's edge. With Phoenix and Rebel fleets at my side, we launched a coordinated assault on the alien command network. Explosions rippled through space, a ballet of destruction and hope. As enemy systems collapsed, we sent a message loud and clear. Earth's chaos was a force that could not be controlled or contained. The paradox burned bright. The storm was far from over. The alien armada splintered under our assault, once an impenetrable force, now shards of steel drifting in space. Commanders defected, torn between duty and doubt. I addressed the enemy prisoners with resolve. "You sought to save us from chaos, but you found only freedom's fire." Some eyes softened, others hardened. The war was no longer just ours. It was theirs, too. On Earth's surface, peacekeepers began withdrawing, their mission fractured and failing. But the scars ran deep. Cities lay in ruins, families torn apart. I visited a battered child clutching a scorched flag. "We fight for the future," I whispered. "A future born from chaos, yes, but one we choose." The reckoning was not over. It was only the beginning. In a historic summit aboard Vigilant, human and alien leaders convened. We forged a new covenant, one built on respect for freedom's messy beauty and the alien mandate's humbled wisdom. I spoke for humanity. True peace is not order imposed, but order chosen. It is the chaos of hope. The galaxy listened. A fragile peace took root. Years later, I stood beneath Earth's open sky, freed, chaotic, alive. Children played among ruins turned gardens. The alien ships were gone, but their lessons remained. I whispered to the stars, "We are the storm and the calm, the paradox that defines us. May the future remember we fought not for peace alone, but for freedom." The final broadcast from Vigilant echoed across the stars. "Earth is a riddle wrapped in fire and hope. We are chaos made flesh, resilience born in defiance. To those who seek to save us, know this: we are our salvation." As the fleet dispersed, I looked toward the unknown, heart steady. The paradox endured, and so would we. Despite the fragile peace, whispers of dissent brewed beneath the surface. Intelligence reported clandestine gatherings, humans and aliens alike, uneasy with the new order. Shadows moved in the corners of diplomacy. I sensed the calm was fragile, a thin veil over deeper unrest. Trust, once shattered, is hard to rebuild. I warned my officers, watch the quiet moments. That's where war is born. Encrypted transmissions surfaced. An unknown faction within the alien ranks plotted to reignite conflict. Their goal: seize control of Earth's newly allied fleet, dismantle the Covenant, and impose absolute order. We raced to intercept their plans, a deadly game of cat and mouse. Betrayal lurked close. Allies became suspects. The line between friend and foe blurred into shadow. Systems critical to Earth's defense blinked offline one by one. Sabotage was precise, surgical, like a phantom cutting threads. Panic stirred among the fleet's ranks. I summoned Nadia. "We face a ghost in the machine," she said, eyes grim. "Someone's rewriting our code from within." We fought not only an external enemy, but a war inside our systems. The silence was deafening. The collapse is invisible but deadly. A shocking revelation shattered trust. A high-ranking officer, long trusted, was the traitor, feeding secrets to the faction bent on war. His motives were twisted by fear and ambition. I confronted him in the shadows of Vigilant. "You chose destruction over hope," I said quietly. His cold smile answered. "Sometimes order demands sacrifice." The betrayal cut deep, but it steeled my resolve. War's true enemy was as much within as without. With sabotage crippling our defenses and traitors in our midst, the fleet teetered on the brink. The alien faction closed in, ready to strike and shatter the fragile peace. In the war room, I looked at my crew. This is the moment we prove our paradox. Chaos bred hope. We fight not just for survival, but for the soul of Earth. Engines roared. The storm was far from over. The alien faction's ships surged forward like a tidal wave. Vigilant's shields strained under relentless assault. Around me, the crew moved with fierce determination. Every strike, every maneuver, a defiant heartbeat. I gave the order. Hold the line. For Earth, for freedom. Plasma lances pierced the void and chaos reigned. The paradox played out in fire and steel, destruction birthing hope. Amid the battle's fury, unexpected reinforcements arrived, loyal alien commanders who rejected the faction's war. Their ships cut through the chaos, turning the tide. I grasped the fragile chance. We must finish this. Together. The Allied fleet coalesced, a swirling storm of hope and resistance. The future hung in the balance. The war ended not with a roar, but a weary silence. The alien faction was defeated, and their leaders were arrested, but the cost was etched in every scarred city, every lost life. In the aftermath, I stood with survivors, human and alien alike. "Peace is forged through sacrifice," I said, "and guarded by understanding." Our covenant was reborn, tempered by fire. Earth's skies cleared, the alien ships retreating into the stars. Humanity's chaotic spirit remained unbroken, stronger, wiser. Children played beneath repaired skies and gardens bloomed amid ruins. I watched from the bridge, a weary smile breaking. We fought the paradox and became its masters. The future was uncertain, but alive. My final broadcast echoed across the galaxy. Earth is not perfect. It is chaos and hope entwined. We are the storm and the calm. We are free. As the fleet dispersed, I looked to the stars. The paradox endures, an eternal dance. And so do we. The end. Thank you for watching AstroMyths. If you enjoyed this story, smash that like button and subscribe for more epic sci-fi tales, cosmic mysteries, and mind-bending myths. And if you like this story, or have a myth, mystery, or galaxy you'd like us to explore, drop your ideas in the comments. We're always listening. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars and your mind open to the unknown.